Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Heal to Heal podcast. Today, I am very excited to be joined by Alex. Let me hope that I get this pronunciation right. Filipowicz.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
there we
close.
go.
Filipowicz.
And Alex is from Poland. She is based in Melbourne now, and she's a fellow EFT tapping practitioner. Alex specializes in matrix reimprinting, which I'm excited to take a deep dive into today with all of you. And Alex is also a midwife. She takes a very holistic approach to working with her clients. So Alex also weaves in Reiki and essential oils into her practices when she's working with people very intuitively as well. So I met Alex just a couple of weeks ago on the Bodhi Practitioner get together day online, and we connected over EFT tapping and many other things, and had a almost a hour long conversation or something over the
Yes.
phone after we'd met online through Bodhi Holistic Hub, and we were really excited to get together today to explore tapping for your life purpose because it's something that I've been really feeling into lately and that I know she can help me with. So I've got lots of questions lined up for Alex today, and we're also going to do a live demonstration for you. So welcome, Alex.
Welcome and welcome everyone who are watching us and listening to us. I hope you can gain something from that.
Yeah. All right. So the first question for you, Alex, is what does healing mean to you?
Mm. I saw your podcast with Sharon King and I thought that was a great question. And I stopped and I started contemplating that question. And I got quite emotional because I realized how much things have changed for me in the last couple of years. I got into EFT maybe 2021. And even though I am still the same person, how I feel, how I think is completely different. Like I don't overthink things anymore, which is fabulous. I was stuck uh, previously. I felt like I'm in a mud and I'm slowly progressing through life. And now that mud is not there anymore. So I started to journal, and something that I wrote down is it's a wonderful way to let go of past events, of your beliefs, of how you see yourself. It's about transformation and learning that you are so much more than you think. It's about loving your inner child, giving it compassion and attention that it deserves. So that is pretty much what healing feels to me.
How beautiful, Alex. Thank you for sharing. I love those words
Pleasure.
as well. That's a beautiful quote. I'd love you to write that down and share it with me as well so I can share it more widely, even on my Instagram page, Daily Practice as well. I think they're really beautiful, empowering words. Um, and I love that question that I had asked Sharon in the podcast episode that you listened to. And we were doing tapping in the quantum field with Sharon. I love that prompted that self-reflection for you as well, and that it started to stir and move some emotions for you. And it made you reflect on just how far you've come as well. And I know before we started recording this conversation, you mentioned that you used to have, 100% belief, I can't do it with many things in life. And even if it had come to being on a podcast like this and having a conversation, it might have been something that you would have shied away from in the past before you found EFT tapping, and now it's something that you believe you can do and you lean into it, and you've got so much to share. So I'm so excited that that's happening for you now.
It is. And even being here today, speaking about my experience, that would be something I would never consider possible a few years
Mm.
ago. I would be too shy, too scared to speak.
Mm.
I would be like, what if someone's gonna laugh at me? Or, all these beliefs that we created when we were children,
Mm.
um, that would play a big role on how I would live my life.
Mm.
Now it's changing, it's
Yes.
evolving.
I love the way that you described as well. You used to feel like you were stuck in mud and like you couldn't move anywhere, and it was keeping you bogged down. And, with tapping, you would know this as well through your own training that the more that we can kind of like name those sensory feelings that we can actually have, like, actually describing something like mud and being stuck in it, those are the words that you can literally use to tap so that you can start to feel more free, like you're, gliding through life instead. And
Yes.
yes,
Flying, really.
flying through life. I love that
Flying
you
with
do that now.
lightness.
Yeah, isn't that
There's a
beautiful? And
lot
I
of
think
lightness now.
that's amazing. And I think we would all love to feel a bit more light and free, like we can fly as well, like we've got both wings supporting us on either sides of ourselves.
Mm. And I also feel, because I'm in my 40s and I come across a lot of women my age that struggle with perimenopause, menopause, all these changes,
Mhm.
different life stages with our kids. So that brings another level of finding your purpose, I think.
Yes.
And I think with finding your life purpose, I think for me, 2020 was also playing a big role. Um, Being at home, having all that time to contemplate what's my next step.
Mm.
Um, yes, that was a big change.
Mm.
Looking for
Yes.
something.
Yes, Alex. And I think that can take us into the next question. I'd love to hear a little bit more about how you got into EFT and how you got into Reiki and how you found yourself on this path.
And that was a little bit accidental.
Mhm.
So when I was working as a midwife, I had a lot of anxiety going to work.
Mm.
That settled when I went to maternity leave.
Mm.
And I thought, oh, things will be so much better, but it wasn't. It was, to my anxiety, there was a guilt of leaving my young child at home and leaving my husband um, over the weekend, for example, with all the responsibilities and working hard Monday to Friday. So
Mm.
a lot of guilt, a lot of anxiety, and I thought, oh my goodness, what I'm gonna do about that?
Mm. And
So I
so
knew
many
I
women
need to.
struggle with that, right? Like so many women out there have that push-pull kind of guilt, whether you're here or there.
Mhm. So eventually I had to resign from my position in the hospital.
Mm.
And I found a job in a smaller clinic, which I work there till today,
Mm.
and it's been great.
Mhm.
But I still had that anxiety,
Can I
and
ask what sort of anxiety symptoms were you noticing or feeling?
for me, I think it was the secondary trauma. So everything that I observed during my work experience.
Mm. So
Dealing
with
with birth, not
yeah,
all births going according to plan. So
yeah.
you have to act fast. You have to be constantly alert. You leave in your patient to go and help in the other room. So
Mm.
all this anxiety was just
Yeah.
building and building and building till the
Mm.
point that I just had to do something about it. And I know that talk therapy
Mhm.
uh, have somewhat helped me, because talking about problems can bring some release, but it didn't give me the tools to work
Mm.
to really release those feelings and
Yes.
emotions from my
And
body.
Alex, just for people out there who might not know what talk therapy is, so was this a traditional sort of psychologist or a psychotherapist who you just talk through
Yes.
your problems with? Yes.
Hmm.
Or
And I'm
even
not
cognitive
saying
behavior
that
therapy.
it's wrong, because everything works differently for different people.
Yeah.
Um, Talking about problems gives you some understanding,
Mm.
probably some sort of release, but for me, it wasn't the answer.
Mm.
I
It
could
doesn't get
still
to the
feel.
level of the body
Exactly.
where these anxieties are actually trapped and coming
Mm,
from. Mm.
true. And sometimes talking about the events kind of triggered my problems even more. I didn't want to talk about it.
Mm.
I didn't. I was avoided. And when they asking why, I don't know why. They
It
do.
re-triggers you. It makes you
It
feel
just
like those things
re-triggers.
are happening now. Yeah. And then you're
Exactly.
clearing it with something like tapping, right?
Um, yes. So there are two things with this. I needed something to release my anxiety, but I also
Mm.
wanted to find purpose.
Mm.
And funny enough, I thought, oh, maybe I'm gonna study counseling.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, how I'm gonna offer someone talk therapy if it doesn't really work for me? Will I
Mm.
be good at this if it doesn't really give me the release that I'm looking for?
Mm.
And so my friend, she told me about this tapping.
Mm.
And I giggled a little bit, because I thought, oh, what I'm gonna do, tap with my feet and do a little
Tap
dance
dancing.
and my problems will go away.
Yeah.
And she said, no, it's really good. I used that for some relationship issues, and it was really helpful. You should try. So I booked an appointment, and I was amazed at what a release that brought for me. I wasn't really sure what to work on because there was accumulation, and the practitioner suggested if I have any memory from school or in life that still troubles me. So I did. I had that memory from the classroom when I had to say poem.
Mm.
I wasn't doing very good at school in general.
Mm.
Not a very good student. I couldn't concentrate. Later in life, I discovered that I have attention deficiency.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, in primary school, I was just not very talented student. That was the label that was given to me.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so there was one opportunity for me to shine because we had to say the poem, and I said I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
I can learn it. I can say it like a pro. But when I was going to the middle of the classroom, my teacher said something about say it as well as your sister would. My sister was the bright, shining star.
Mm-hmm.
And that just shut me down completely.
Yeah. Older sister?
Older sister.
Yeah. How much older than
2 years.
Okay.
Mm. So, the teacher didn't really mean anything horrible. She just said, oh, yeah, just say it as well as your sister would. But that was just completely, that was my shock. That was my Juden. That was my, I can't do it. The effort is, whatever I do is never going to be good enough. And that would haunt me for the rest of the primary school.
Yeah.
At high school, things started to shift because I was my own person. No one knew me. So I could have that fresh start kind of thing. So things progressed from there.
Can I ask, Alex, how did the poem recital go once she said that?
I can't really remember because I was in shock. So, frozen moment.
It was a trauma capsule. Yeah.
Trauma capsule. So I can't even remember how, I don't think I done well because when you go in a freeze moment, you just forget everything, nothing matters. So I think I would just, no, it didn't go well.
Yeah.
But that just showed me how events from childhood, all this writing on the walls, what we create in this situation can affect the rest of your life. But it's never too late.
Yes.
And there's always time to undo it.
So was that was with an EFT tapping practitioner, was it, that took you back to that memory and helped you process it? Yep. And did they use Matrix Reimprinting there, where they sort of imprinted a new belief, or
new belief? So yes, you the release. That was great. That I didn't have to feel this way. The first realization, the teacher didn't mean anything bad by saying that. Then we also checked if there is any bad feelings towards my sister, which wasn't. But I was just there in the memory, tapping on my younger self, releasing that shock, releasing those beliefs, reassuring her that this situation doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It's just something that someone said.
Wow, what a powerful first session and first experience of EFT tapping that must have been for you. And so Reiki, did that come later?
So when I decided to study EFT, I was studying with Caroline Dawson. She was running EFT course. And after I finished that, I decided to do extra, so Matrix Reimprinting. And another step to Matrix Reimprinting was doing the diploma, which included Reiki and shamanic meditation and some counseling. So Reiki came with that. I only needed to do level 1. But Reiki, that's another level of healing. It's wonderful experiences there as well. So I decided to learn more and learn how to self-heal with Reiki and help people this way as well.
Beautiful.
Especially, again, if you really struggle to navigate through your traumas, Reiki is a beautiful way to release your emotions because
Mm.
you just lying down, you relax, and
Mm.
you feel like everything lifting,
Yeah.
shifting.
What a powerful blend of modalities that you have in your tool belt now, Alex. Thank you for sharing that.
That's pleasure.
Mm. Is there anything more you want to add to that question about how you got into EFT and Reiki and
I think
um,
that's I
yeah.
can talk and talk and talk about it.
Yes, we could. I think you and I could talk all day.
Yes.
Um, so I'd love to ask you now about what do you believe life purpose is or means? What is
That's
someone's life
such a good
purpose?
question because we can, again, look at that life purpose from so many different angles.
Yes.
I think for me, it's what's right in front of me. For me, for example,
Mm.
I always thought my life purpose is being a midwife, and that was my life purpose. And now I know there is more to it.
Mm.
My life purpose, maybe it's not being just a midwife, but helping people in so many ways, and helping women manage their pain during the labor, but it's
Mm.
also helping making tough decisions. And now, when I started doing EFT, it was releasing birth trauma.
Mm.
And now my life purpose is more about stress and anxiety. So it's always evolving.
Mm.
It's almost like discovery journey as well.
Mm-hmm.
The more you learn, the more you're going through, you realize
Yes.
more, you learn, and you evolve. So I
Yeah.
think that that's what life purpose is for me, constantly checking in
Yes.
with yourself.
I love that, Alex. And I think that if we think about nature, right? Because we are nature, nature is constantly in flux. It's not like you get to one season and then you're done and you stop
Mm.
and you stay there. We're always going to be cycling through the seasons, summer, winter, autumn, spring. It's going to keep on moving and be in flux. And we're like that too. And I think that almost our life purpose is a bit like that. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like you just suddenly find it and it stays there forever. And maybe for some people it does, right?
And
Um,
some people will be very comfortable with that, and that's
yes.
fine.
Yes. Yeah, they might, be a midwife for their whole life and that's
Mm.
that's it for them, but for other
Yeah.
people it might be something that does change. But I think that there's also, even if you are a midwife or a teacher or a banker, whatever it is, if someone has found what they feel is their life purpose in one go, there's still going to be these cycles that are naturally moving through, whether it's within one job and then you move to the next job, or you know even within each day there's these cycles that are constantly moving and flowing.
Yes, but also, as I mentioned, it's almost like I gave myself a label.
Mm.
I am a midwife, and that will be my life.
Mm.
Um, but how we make decision about our life purpose
Mm.
can not always be our conscious decision.
Mm.
And hear me out on that one, because we don't
Mm.
realize that. We don't think about and contemplate about that. But there is something we call writing on the walls.
Mm.
So what we hear when we are children,
Mm.
children are like sponges,
Mm.
especially up to year 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know better because that's your expertise.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and whatever we hear, we absorb and we create our future based on that. And again, not necessarily bad thing, but when you hear you need to work hard for your money, money doesn't grow on the trees. When choosing your work, make sure that it's prosperous or safe, secure job.
Mm.
Um, Sometimes there is an aspect of prestige as well. So if your family is if everyone in your family are doctors or lawyers, that's kind of something that is expected from you as well, to
Mm.
go into that field. And really what you want to do is to be an artist. But you still go and finish your law degree, and you do that as a job because you were told it's running a family, it's
Mm.
good prosperity, it's good money. So all those writings on the walls that we carry,
Mm.
those are the beliefs that sometimes we might need to look into and see if they are really blocking us.
Yes. I guess you can sort of think of that, Alex, as unconscious conditioning, So we weren't
Exactly.
aware in that age below 7 or even 12, we weren't aware that we were being programmed because we
Mm.
were just like sponges, and our brain waves were literally in that theta state where you are, it's like you're hypnotic in that state and you are just being programmed. And maybe it's not until you're a bit older and you might start to feel like something's not quite right and there's some anxiety there or you're out of alignment. You might start consciously looking into, oh, what do I believe? What am I doing? And is this really what's true for me? And there
Mhm.
might be a process of unbecoming almost.
Mhm. And
Mm,
then there's another aspect, even if you are at work and you're thinking, oh, this job is not really for me anymore. But then your brain will try to keep you safe. And
mm,
those beliefs play a big role in that as well.
mm,
Don't change the work. How are you going to support yourself?
mm,
Maybe you're not going to find a better job. Maybe the workers will not be any better than what you have right now.
mm,
What if just stay and just do what you do.
mm.
That's the brain job, keeping us safe.
Yes.
But it's not necessarily the right thing to do.
Mm, mhm. Great. Thanks, Alex. Is there anything you want to add to that about life purpose?
I think I would like to just say more about those beliefs that we create.
Mm,
I often, if someone comes to me and they don't really know what they want to, what's their issue really,
mm,
or what they would like to work on, I'm giving them list
mm.
of beliefs, and I can show you that one.
Yeah, you
But
can.
that is my list.
Would you like to read some of them out so people can get an idea of what are some of these
So.
beliefs that we may consciously or unconsciously be carrying as part of our programming that's actually running our lives?
So this was prepared by Caroline Dabson,
Mm,
and this is what I marked in the beginning of the course. Okay,
mm.
if you can see,
Yeah, so
I can't do it was 100%,
yes. And some
which
of the
is
other do you want to read some of the other beliefs that
yeah. So
Alex, so people can have a
I'm
think about
I'm
whether
a failure. I'm not good enough. This is we see so many times.
mm,
I'm not worthy. I'm not lovable. I'm dumb. I'm a victim. I'm helpless. Um, it's not fair. I've lost control. So there is a lots. But what I see the most is I can't do it. I'm not good enough. I'm not lovable.
mm,
It's what I see with my clients happening the most.
mm.
I think, which
And it's
is
these beliefs that can get in the way of us discovering our life purpose or our highest potential, perhaps.
highest potential.
Highest
Yeah,
potential
that's
is
what
maybe
keeps
another
us
way
stuck
of
in the mud.
thinking. Yes, stuck in the mud. Another way of thinking of our life purpose can be our highest potential, perhaps. And
Mm.
there's a word, a Greek word that I feel like it's worth mentioning here. And I wonder if you've heard of it. It's called telos, Telos. And the word telos, have you heard of this before, Alex?
No, I don't think so.
A telos is a every living thing has a telos.
Mhm.
And I think this word has its roots in ancient Greece. And it's something's reason for being. So, for example, an acorn, its reason for being is to become an oak tree. So that's the purpose of an acorn. A sunflower seed's purpose is to become a sunflower. And just as plants have this innate purpose, so does every human. And so it's kind of my view that even as a mother, I've got a 5-year-old and a 4-year-old, and I know you have kids as well. Um, to me, I kind of see my job as helping my own child live their purpose. So it's not what I think they should do or who they should be. It's actually kind of trying to keep their own flame or spirit alive and alight and nurture that flame or their own true spirit or purpose, so that
Mm-hmm.
they can develop their own strengths and use their own intuition and find their own passions, because that's usually what, your passions and your interests and the things that light you up are clues as to what your purpose or your highest potential here on this earth in this lifetime is. Um,
Mm. That's a
mm,
great one. And talking about kids, how we manage the balance, that's another thing, yeah, because we do
mm.
still have some expectations. We can't let kids
Social
do
conditioning.
just
Mm.
whatever they want to do.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how do you keep that flame going for them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, even for some women who are mothers, like maybe being a mother is their telos and they don't have like business or career kind of goals or aspirations. But for other women, they might be mothers, but then they also have this insatiable desire or like need to go and follow their purpose and passion because they do feel that they've got sort of a life purpose that's calling them.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. To me, it feels like there's something I can't ignore that's in me that needs to keep on following this like flicker of flame of my purpose. And I'm still figuring that out, which is why I'm so excited to do this experience with you today, tapping too. Um, hmm.
I'm also very interested to see when it's
Yeah,
going
I
to
need
take
to see
us.
where this goes. You never really know where these tapping sessions are going to go. Um, all right, beautiful, Alex. Do you have anything else you want to add about purpose at the moment?
I think it's enough. We can just make this topic so big, but I think
Yes, I know.
for
Okay, so before we get into the demonstration, I'd love to ask you just to explain a little bit about the how. How does EFT tapping, and if you're listening and you haven't heard about EFT tapping before, or you haven't listened to the episode with Sharon King, EFT tapping is emotional freedom techniques, and it's a technique where you use two fingers to tap percussively on these meridian endpoints around your face and upper body, and you pair this acupressure with cognitive statements about what you're thinking or how you're feeling to help. Well, what we're doing is
release.
release. Yes, we're
Mm,
releasing stagnant energy
mm.
to create greater flow within the body. But it's also what's happening is we're activating the parasympathetic nervous system or the relaxation response or the ventral vagal state within the body, where we can feel calm, relaxed, clear, and in control. And we're down regulating the stress response in the body, which is a sympathetic activation, where there would normally be cortisol being released. So one of the markers that they use in clinical trials is they measure cortisol levels, and we know that when you tap, cortisol levels go down. So it's communicating with the amygdala in your brain, which is your stress center, and it's calming it. But it's also upregulating. It's actually also calming the hippocampus, the memory center in the brain, which is closely anatomically situated to the amygdala, so that you can actually also uncover memories, because this is our memory center, the hippocampus. So memories from childhood or even past lives can actually come up for us to integrate and process them to resolve whatever it is that we're intending to focus, to work through in that session.
And I think it's very important to remember that we tapping into subconscious, which is 95% of
Yeah,
what's running our life right
what's
now.
running our lives exactly. And it's a beautiful way of bringing the subconscious and the conscious mind together to create with more intention, to create a life with more intention.
What I
Um,
would also add
yeah.
is that during the session, you are in charge as well.
Mm.
So it's not me telling you what to do.
Yes, that's good. Worth
I'm
mentioning, Alex.
helping you navigate through it,
Yeah.
but in the end, you are the one empowered to make the
Yes. And
change.
I think that's why it is such an empowering technique for people to learn, because it's literally at your fingertips.
Mm.
And as the practitioner, we're actually really just trying to reflect back to you exactly what you're saying. So you kind of dissolve and resolve your own issues. We're just almost acting like a mirror, and crafting those, sentences together for you.
Yeah.
So, Alex, can you just elaborate a little bit on how EFT can be used to help find someone's life purpose or understand someone's life purpose more? And maybe you could touch on Matrix Reimprinting if people don't know about that as well before we start.
So when it comes to life purpose, there would be two things I would look at into. Again, looking at those beliefs or
Mm.
looking at how, if you are not sure what your life purpose is, how does it make you feel?
Mm.
And then we will tap into some past memory, like we will tune into that feeling and emotion
Mm.
to try to bring the memory that is connected to that. And then we work with that memory.
Mm.
Sometimes if you're struggling with your life purpose or you just want to, or you have some idea of what you want to do, I will get you to imagine your future self.
Mm-hmm.
how would that feel if you have all your ducks in place? How
Mm.
would that feel having found that purpose? And we go to your future self and you can ask, so what do I need to work on
Mm.
to achieve that? And then it's again just diving back to your subconscious mind and releasing all these beliefs, emotions, all this negativity. And then we're focusing on reprinting the new beliefs. And that happens just like that. Once you start to release your negative beliefs and
Yes.
emotions, the positivity, the positive feeling is just coming to you. The answer is just there.
I love it. There's a quote that just came to me, which relates to this, I think, and it was Louise Hay who said, "You cannot clean a house if you can't first see the dirt."
Mm,
And it is really a matter of going and like cleaning and clearing everything out so that you can,
yeah.
make the magic happen.
And sometimes it's as easy as releasing that belief, I can't do it.
Hmm.
Because if you put that barrier in front of you, how do you wanna
How can you proceed?
how do you
Mm.
proceed?
Mm.
So talking about your situation,
Yeah, so let's
what do
get
you think
started.
was more resonating? Going to the future self and asking that question. Imagine how would that feel to have
You know,
everything in place?
you know
Or
what? I think that maybe for me, what is feeling confusing or clouding my ability to really connect with clarity on my life purpose is there feels like there's this confusion
Mhm.
because I feel like I have so many skills and I have so many different people that I want to help. And it's like I've got an overload of ideas that I want to, and I can feel the anxiety in my chest as I say this. It's like this
Mm.
excitement of like this bursting of wanting to do all these things and help all these people. It's like this overwhelm of ideas, but not knowing which one to like hone and focus my energy on to ground. And maybe there's also some fear about picking the wrong thing and it not working. And there's some I can feel like there's definitely some emotions of anxiety, confusion, and fear that are present if I'm tuning in somatically to what's going on within me. Um,
Okay, and which one is the strongest?
um, hmm, it's in my belly,
Mhm.
just below my belly button, and it's adrenaline. So I guess it's nerves, but it feels a bit excited. Hmm.
But is it mainly so? Interesting. We have lots of different feelings and emotions here.
Yeah.
So if you think about helping everyone
Mm.
and not getting anywhere, is
Mm.
it mainly fear, confusion, or anxiety?
Like spreading myself too thin. I guess that's a phrase that just came to my mind. Like, if I'm trying to help everyone, like, because I'm literally teaching some elderly yoga classes, I'm teaching some, 0 to 5-year-old music, movement, and mindfulness classes. I'm teaching a daily moon flow yoga practice for anyone and everyone. That's a live stream thing that I do Monday to Friday. And I love that, right? It's amazing. It's what I do for myself that I think is good for other people too. And then I've got all these kids' books that I feel really excited and passionate about. My sisters and I've published one, Rabbit's Tail. I've got I'm Zen Like a Zebra. She's in the final stages of doing that. And then I've got a kids' book about tapping. And I've got other ones about like flower fairies. And so even now I'm like, oh, there's all these ideas and I'm just worried about like spreading myself too thin and then getting nowhere. Jack of all trades, master of none.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and not really honing one skill. And I think this has been a pattern probably like through my life. Even I had a 12-year teaching career, primary teaching career, and I don't think um, until the last 5 years of my career when I had children and I was teaching full time and then part time and then for some of it casual and then um, full time cover as well. I was at one school for about 5 years doing that, but I was in and out of maternity leave and all that. Before that, I really just had 1 year at each school that I taught at, and I always had like a new job to go to and something else to do, but I never settled and stayed anywhere. And I remember my mum before I moved to Sydney and got a teaching job up here. I'd finished 1 year of teaching at my old primary school in Melbourne, Auburn South. And she was trying to say, Sal, like you just need to stay in one place, consolidate yourself as a teacher. You know, I didn't listen
But
to
that
her. I
wasn't
moved
your
to
purpose.
Sydney. No, I feel like it's been part of my journey. Um,
Hmm.
but I'm a bit fearful of continuing that pattern and never really mastering something. And I still feel like, I guess everyone's got an element of imposter syndrome, but because I had this 12-year teaching career where I jumped around so much, I never did more than 1 year on 1 year level. I was in different cities and different places, and I did a lot of cover teaching, a lot of casual teaching. So and although I've got a master's in primary teaching and I've done that for 12 years, I don't feel like I've mastered teaching.
Mm-hmm.
So there's
Yeah.
probably a little bit of imposter syndrome there, or this feeling of failure at not really sticking to something.
Do you think it's not good enough?
No.
No, it's different. Okay.
Mm,
Well, because we navigated, and you mentioned that it's fear, confusion, and anxiety. I feel
mm,
like what you told me just now, that possibly confusion is the main one.
mm.
Is that right?
It might be. I think there's something about like, I don't, maybe it's a bit of I don't fit in or I don't belong. There might be a belief of that there. But it's
That beliefs.
also, I think it's also that I'm worried, I'm scared of being put into a box.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel so much bigger than that.
So I am scared of being put in a box.
Mm,
And how does that make you feel?
constricted. I feel a knot in the center of my chest.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Sorry, I'm just writing down the feelings.
mm,
Not in the chest.
mm.
And what is the emotion in there?
It feels like constriction or limitation, like I'm being compressed. Like
But
my
if you
mm,
would add emotion to it, what would
yeah.
that be? Is it
It feels like
frustration? Is it?
it feels like it's misunderstood. It's this feeling of being misunderstood. Can you call that an emotion?
Um,
Misunderstood, even though I feel
Misunderstood,
misunderstood.
it's just
Mm,
feelings. But it's
mm.
like you feel frustrated or angry or
Like maybe it's disconnection. It feels like there's a word I learned the other day that I was like, wow, that's, I'm doing a reconnected parenting program at the moment and with the reconnected, which is amazing. But I learned about this concept of incongruence.
Mhm.
And, congruence is when you're like, I guess it's authenticity. That's how I understood this when it was being explained. When you're expressing how you feel and it matches how you really feel. So, and for kids, they want their parent to be in congruence, where
Mhm.
they're actually, if they feel angry, they're saying they feel angry. They're not pretending, they're not passively kind of going around things, but in an angry way. They're actually saying how they really feel. And I guess for me, um, it's this feeling of like not being truly heard or understood in who I really am. So I guess
Mm-hmm.
it's maybe like I guess underneath the disconnection or feeling misunderstood, it's a little bit of anger or frustration
Mm-hmm.
deep inside that.
Yeah.
Mm. And it's very much in the core. I can feel it in the core of my chest, like right in the center of my chest.
So you mentioned that you feel the knot in your chest as well. That's
Yeah.
all combined. What
Mm.
is that knot made of? Is it
Ooh.
lightweight, heavy?
It feels like it's got copper like wrapped all the way around it, really
Mm-hmm.
tight. Yeah.
And if you put that anger and frustration in
Mm.
scale of 0 to 10, how intense does it feel? 10 being the most intense.
Right now, it's probably about a 6 when I tune
Mm-hmm.
into it. Yeah.
And which one is more stronger, anger or frustration?
Anger.
Mm-hmm. And that's 6 right now.
Yeah.
Can you tell me? So you said copper wrapped. Where is that? What is the color of that anger?
The anger is like a um a deep red, a deep dark red.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. It's like got a velvety texture.
Okay. So
Mhm.
we're gonna start tapping on the points.
Mhm.
So even though, so just focus on that anger in your body.
Mm. And I might just before
Okay.
we get started here, Alex, if there's people listening, I'll encourage them to tap along as well. So we're on the side of the hand, and they can actually tune into a feeling that they're feeling themselves, or if they're resonating with what I'm saying, they can just tune into whatever's coming up for them. So they can get borrowed benefits as
You
we
can
go.
take borrow benefits, but now we will try to tune into the memory. So we're not
Yes.
doing the
Okay.
exact tapping right now.
Okay.
So focusing on that anger in your chest, that knot, that copper wrapped in your chest,
Mm.
and that anger. Just let your mind take you to the first time you felt this way. And don't dismiss anything. Just let the process take you to the very first moment you felt that anger. And tap on top of your head and go through your points. That anger in your chest. When was the first time you felt this way?
Mm. I have a memory that's come to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to share it with
And
you?
what's happening in that memory?
This memory was when I was in year 10 and we were asked to go with our parents. So my mum was there to see a careers counselor or a careers advisor at school. And it was in order to help us choose our subjects for year 11 and 12, because they were kind of asking us to choose what we were going to do, in the year after school, which they were presuming would be uni, at the school that I was at, private girls' school.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at that stage, I was probably 15 in year 10. I was a year young as well. Um, and at that stage, if you asked me what I wanted to do when I finished school, and I told you honestly, which is what I was doing there as I was sitting there with this woman and my mum, I said that I wanted to maybe work in a bakery or a florist,
Mm-hmm.
which is a perfectly reasonable thing for a 15-year-old kid to want to do. You know, I wasn't ready
Yeah.
to make a decision for as to what I wanted to do for the rest of my life at that stage and that age. And I remember feeling like their response when I said that
Mm-hmm.
was just completely dismissive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then it was just like, what about doing this or this? Or, you know, the projections of
Options,
what I
projections,
should
and
be doing, according to them, came thick and fast. And I guess, you know, like they were doing their job and what they thought was best for me and all of that. But I remember feeling this sense of like, I'm completely misunderstood and I feel frustrated and angry and um, I guess anxious and nervous about trying to make a decision as to what I was going to do for the rest of my life. Like pick a uni
there
course,
we
and then you
go.
had to pick all your subjects according to what you want to get into
And you just
in
wanted to
uni.
be baker.
Yeah, and
There was
and
no subjects about that.
yeah, and I was still I wanted to pick subjects based on what I enjoyed doing, which is what you should do.
So
Yeah.
thank you for that. This is great.
Mm.
So what we're gonna do, can you see with your in your mind's eye the situation?
Yeah.
Can you pose everyone and everything in a picture?
Freeze them. Yeah.
Wisdom.
Mm.
And can we just go to that moment when you just say that you want to be a baker and you see that reaction?
Mm.
And can you please approach your younger self
Mhm.
and just introduce yourself? Tell her that you are her from the future and you are here to help her
Mm.
and that she's absolutely safe.
Yeah.
Can you ask her how is she feeling right now?
Mm. She's really happy to see me. She's
Fantastic.
like, she just is
Good.
like,
Because she's
wow,
been
you're
waiting for you.
awesome. Thank you for being here. She feels relieved because she's like,
Straight away.
oh, like I'm okay. Like I'm, you know, the 35-year-old version of me is like
Super cool.
super cool. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I had something flash up and I'll tell you what it is and whether we should go there or you might want to tell me to park it and we revisit it later. But I have a memory, another memory from when I saw and I would have been around the same age. I reckon my sister was in year 12 and I was in year 11 and my sister was school captain and we were in a rowing crew together and she was she didn't know she had it yet, but she had chronic fatigue and you know, she just like would have been so exhausted, like running assemblies every week, rowing, the debating team, you know, like just did everything. Um, and I remember sitting in the library downstairs and my sister knocking on the window and she was standing there crying. Can't remember whether I was inside the library or she was inside the library and one of us was on the other side of the window, but I think she like needed my help, you know. And weirdly, I don't remember beyond, like, I don't remember how I helped her or what we talked about. But I feel like I have this feeling I want to help her now
Okay. So
as
what we can
well.
do for her, if you see her,
Mm.
if we can just put her in a protective bubble here.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, and what's happening now?
Yeah, I feel like I've just put her in like an invisible bubble so she can feel like she's safe. She's not going to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
She can make as much noise as she wants and no one's going to hear her. And it's also just like a I've put her in one of those like zero gravity beds inside the bubble. So she's
Hmm.
really comfortable. She feels like she's just
Beautiful.
floating on a cloud, and she can put on a little massage thing and some relaxing music, and she's just like safe and protected inside this bubble.
Lovely.
She can just rest.
Yes, and tell her that thank you for showing us that you want to work on something
Mm.
and that we can revisit that later. And
Mm.
now she's safe.
Yeah. And I feel like I want to say to her, I'm sorry, me as a year 10 or 11 student, I don't know how to help you. I didn't know how to help you then,
Hmm.
but I know this is what you need now. And I'm
Hmm.
sorry if I didn't give you what you needed then because I didn't have the tools.
Yes. And can you ask her what color of light we could bring for her?
Mm. Yellow.
Beautiful. So wash that
Mm.
bubble and her bed and herself through that beautiful yellow color.
Mm. Oh gosh, I'm feeling
Oh,
more
there
relaxed
you
now
go.
too.
There we
Yeah.
go. There is the release.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to that memory. Did
Mm.
you say goodbye? Everything is okay in that memory with your
Yeah,
sister?
she's really happy and relieved.
Beautiful. So let's
Mm.
go back to year 10 and your career choice.
Mm. I already just feel better because I've like seen me
Hmm.
and I'm like, everything's going to be fine. I don't need to worry.
So that was quick, but we need to get to the beliefs that she created.
Yes, yes, we do.
Okay. So ask her what the situation make her believe about herself or what decision she made in that moment.
Well, I think it was this pressure to choose your life purpose, like it was a life sentence or something.
Hmm.
Like you have to know and you have to know now. And I feel like I've been carrying that pressure and that belief for a long time, whereas it's like just relax and follow I feel like I want to, yeah, like rewrite that belief as like,
Hmm.
um, just keep following what lights you up.
That's
And
right.
you'll get to where you are destined to go because, like you just keep following the charm and the breadcrumbs and the following what lights you up and learning to
And
listen to your body and say yes with what feels open and no to what contracts.
mhm. And with that pressure to choose, how does that make her feel?
Really constricted and really trapped and stuck and small and misunderstood
Stuck, misunderstood.
and incongruent, like choosing something that's not even in alignment. Like,
Is there any anger, frustration?
uh, yeah, there's a bit of anger at that situation that, like, that the whole constitution is like that.
Hmm. Okay, well, is it okay if we do some tapping for her with her?
Yeah.
So in your mind's eye, you're gonna tap on her, right?
Mhm.
So you can tap on your points, that's fine. But in your mind's eye, she's your main focus. So if
Can
she
she
needs to,
can she tap on herself and we're kind of like guiding her how to do it on herself?
we can absolutely try.
Hmm.
When we'll see if that's gonna work.
Hmm.
Okay, so starting on the side of the hand, even though I have all this anger,
Even though I had all this anger
I feel misunderstood.
and I feel misunderstood,
I feel stuck and constructed,
I feel stuck.
constricted
I feel stuck and constricted
because I have all this pressure to choose right now.
because I have all this pressure to choose right now.
I choose to love and accept myself anyway,
I choose to love and accept myself anyway.
even though I'm in the situation when I have to choose now.
even though I'm in this situation where I have to choose now,
and I feel that anger and pressure,
and I feel this anger and pressure,
and I feel stuck and misunderstood,
and I feel stuck and misunderstood,
I allow myself to let go of all these feelings, emotions, and beliefs.
I allow myself to let go of all these feelings and emotions and beliefs.
I let go of all these feelings and emotions from my body.
I let go of all these feelings and emotions from my body.
And we're gonna go through the points. And when you start feeling shift in her, like she's fine, we can stop tapping, okay?
Mhm. There is a
So go from
I
the
might
top of her
mention it,
head.
Alex, and tell me if you want me to park this
Mm-hmm.
again for a while, but I had another memory from, it's so strange. I hadn't thought of this for years, like I'd forgotten about it. But I had another memory from that library that came through. And it was
Mm-hmm.
actually when I was in year 12, sorry, in my first year of uni, I actually ended up going to Bond University on the Gold Coast, where I got a 50% scholarship to a private university, where I did exercise science. And there's a whole story behind that as well, which I won't go into. But in my first year out of uni, towards the end of the year, I was actually invited to come back to St. Cath's, to my old school, and talk to the year 12s about my experience at Bond University and my first year out of
Mm-hmm.
school. And I can't even remember what I spoke about or like what my main message would have been, but it's really interesting that they ended up asking me to come back and share, you know, my journey so far, which had many twists and turns in that one year.
Hmm.
But anyway, yeah, I just had that memory come up that I actually revisited the library and spoke to the kids there, the year 12s.
Okay. Is it
Mm.
very strong memory that we need to work on, or it
I
just
don't think
something that
so.
came through? Yeah. Okay, let's
No,
leave
but
it for now.
yeah, it might be something that needs to be integrated, but maybe
Mm-hmm.
just the simple fact that I've shared that memory will kind of start to integrate that into this
Mm-hmm.
session as
Yeah,
well.
maybe it's maybe you were talking about life purpose as well, and
Yeah.
you try to pressure someone to make a decision. So maybe there's some guilt coming through. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's not necessary. I may not
Yeah.
be right. But
Mm.
let's just be focus on your echo and your
Yeah.
younger self,
Yeah.
and let's release that emotions in that moment.
Mm.
All this anger, all this feeling of misunderstood,
Mm.
all that pressure.
All this pressure.
It's okay to let it go now.
It's okay to let it go now.
All this anger I'm feeling.
All this anger that I'm feeling,
It's okay to let it go.
it's okay to let it go.
I can finally release
I can
all
finally
this,
release
all
all this,
feeling of being stuck,
all these feelings of being stuck,
all that pressure.
all that pressure.
I am so misunderstood.
I'm so misunderstood.
I just want to be a baker
I just want to work in a bakery or be a florist
or be a florist.
or
They
travel or go on a
travel
gap year and, have some adventures.
and they make me choose
And they're trying to make me choose
right here, right there.
right here and right now.
And I am not ready.
I'm not ready. I'm a 15-year-old kid.
Mhm. How can I make that choice?
How can I make a choice of what I'm going to do and be for the rest of my life when I'm a 15-year-old kid? Seems ridiculous.
So I let go of all these feelings and emotions.
So I let go of all these feelings and emotions.
I accept that they don't mean anything bad.
I accept that they don't mean anything bad and they were coming from a loving place.
And I'm releasing all these negative feelings and emotions.
And I'm releasing all these negative feelings and emotions.
It's okay to let it go.
It's okay to let it go.
I allow myself to let go.
I allow myself to let go.
Yeah. How is she feeling now?
Yeah, she felt like there was some spurts of like adrenaline and anxiety that came up through the rounds of tapping.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think she feels, yeah, like there's definitely still this charge of, it feels like a charge of adrenaline in her
Mm-hmm.
belly. Um, there's a charge of adrenaline in her belly.
Can you tell me a little bit more about this adrenaline? How does it make her feel? There's it negative emotion in
Um,
there, or?
it's really, yeah, it's taking up the whole like lower half of her belly. And
Mhm.
it's just this adrenaline, like she can't stop and she has to do it. And I think that it maybe relates to this feeling like in year 12, I really didn't want to do rowing. Rowing was like a really big sport at this school, and my brother had done it and my sister had done it. And I guess I felt like there was this pressure to do it as well. And it was like 8 training sessions a week, and we'd have to get up at like 5 a.m. and train, like whether it was
Mhm.
strength and conditioning or ergos or on the river early or, rowing camps. And I think that for me, as someone who didn't find the academic stuff that easy, but then also put a lot of pressure on myself, like I would study really hard, even through the holidays. I remember being in Bali, like having big folders of stuff to study, even in year 11, like before my PE theory exam. And um, so things didn't come that easily to me. So I would have to study and work really hard, like academically, but then also I was like, felt like I had to do this rowing, even though I didn't want to, as a personal choice.
Mhm.
And it was probably just like this constant, I think my adrenals were completely just like going crazy. And I was also like very social. And I would also, even in year 11 and 12, I would drink a lot of alcohol. And so I would go to these regattas, rowing races, all day on a Saturday. And I'd go to like 18th birthday parties when I was only 17. And I would drink probably more alcohol than most people there. But I would still like, I had a best friend of mine, Lib, who was a boarder. She would stay the night every Saturday night. She also rode, but we'd get up and go for a run the next morning and, like burning the candle at both ends. And I don't even know
Mhm.
how I did it now that I reflect on it. But probably I was drinking a lot because I didn't know how to deal with my emotions of anxiety and overwhelm um,
And
that
it's
I
also
had.
fit in, right?
Yeah, to fit in as well. I mean, I was pretty naughty, I would sneak out. Sorry, mum and dad, if you're listening. Sneak out. I probably got caught once or twice, so they probably already know. But yeah, to fit in and keep up probably as well, like overcompensating for being younger than most, but
Do
still
you
wanting to keep
recall
up.
talking to your mom or anyone else about not wanting to do the rowing?
Um, I think it was just there was like a lot of yeah, like I probably did try and say that I didn't want to do it and I felt like it was too much. And I remember
Hmm.
falling asleep in class some days, and
Yeah.
or like even I remember before going to a regatta, really I'd done my first English exam. It was called a SAC. So your performance counted towards your end result. And feeling like I hadn't slept the night before and I'd been practicing all these essays. And then I sat down and felt like I got a complete mental block and I couldn't write anything. And I felt like I completely failed it because I was just in brain freeze mode. And it
Hmm.
ended up actually being okay. I think I still got like an A for it. But I had this feeling of like I was so stressed and anxious that I'd
Hmm.
completely ruined it. And then it was going from there after having not slept the night before and being at training to a regatta over the weekend. Like I hated it.
Hmm.
And sitting on the start line of these races that would completely, like you were going as flat out and hard as you possibly could. So your body's getting completely drained and exhausted through racing, but also the nerves of like sitting on the start line.
Hmm.
And I think also even the rowing coach, I remember her calling me Dilly Dally Sally because I would like I would arrive I would like we would have to jog after before training, we'd finish school and then we had to run from school down to the boat sheds to do training and I would like stop and I remember picking those forget-me-not flowers that are blue
Hmm.
and sticky. And I picked a forget-me-not flower and had it like stuck on my shirt. And I remember her kind of like just looking at
It's,
me like I was so pathetic and weak. And because I was
oh,
maybe not as like quick and sharp and onto it as everyone, she
no,
called me
you
Dilly
didn't want
Dally
to do
Sally.
it.
I'd be the last one with my hands on the boat, ready to carry it into the river.
Yeah.
But just feeling this like real pressure, like I had to.
So let's do some conversation with your mom in Matrix, but let's go back to this anger first, okay?
Mm,
So go back to that moment when you felt that pressure to choose
mm,
and check with your younger self again.
mhm.
How is that anger that she felt before? Is that
Can't
gone?
feel the anger there anymore. The
Okay.
anger's not there.
How is that feeling stuck?
No, she feels good.
She feels good.
Yeah.
How good out of 10 would you score it?
Like the anger's a 0 now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Would you like to have conversation with your mom in that moment and let her know how really she feels about growing and the pressure that she feels right now?
Mm. Yeah, I think she could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I feel like she wants to stand up for herself
Mm-hmm.
and have her firm boundaries and just, like I already rode in year 11 in the crew with my sister. It was like we went to nationals. It was like a good year, but it felt like that was the time to leave. And I knew that, but I feel like I didn't get supported in that decision. And
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be able to focus my energy on my studies because that was what was important to me in year 12. And that should have been my
Yes.
choice, and I should have been
Mm-hmm.
supported in that choice.
Okay.
And I knew that I didn't have capacity to do both. Mm. So I feel like I want to like back up that 15-year-old version of me to like stand firm in her own boundaries and
That is,
reach that
just want to
decision.
point out that
Mm.
you are not the client, she is. So make
Yes.
sure that is something that she wants to do and she's ready to do it.
Yeah. So can you just clarify, what am I supposed to be doing right now?
So if you can ask your younger self to have conversation with your mom in
Mm.
that moment to explain to her first of all that she's not ready to make a choice,
About
who she wants to be in the
my
future,
career. Yeah.
and also um, how she feels about this rowing and all this pressure. Just tell your mom how you feel about having all this pressure.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's good.
Mm-hmm. So what is she thinking now? What is she feeling now?
Yeah, she's explained the concept of telos to my mum, and she's
Mm-hmm.
told her that she needs space and support,
Mm-hmm.
and that um, rowing at this time is not going to help me thrive and grow in the way
Mm-hmm.
that I need and want in year 12.
Okay. Is there anything else she would like to tell to her teacher?
I think that, yeah, she wants to tell her teacher that at this stage, it's more important for me to choose subjects based on my interests and passions. And I'm going to trust that they're going to be the right subjects that are going to lead me to what I'm supposed to do
Mm-hmm.
as an adult without it being like a decision that needs to be made now about
Mm-hmm.
whether I'm going to be a doctor or a lawyer or a, physio or a teacher or a nurse or anything like that.
Beautiful. So looking at that picture now, how does she feel about everything? About that pressure to choose?
Yeah, she feels good.
How good out of 10?
Mm. I think she wants to like just explain to them that it doesn't, that they actually should be getting people in to teach the kids how to trust themselves more and use their intuition and nurture their strengths. And that's where I feel like me coming in a year later, you know, to talk to the younger kids, I feel like it's a little bit relevant there because it's like, I don't remember what message I shared, but I hope that it was a message about learning to trust yourself. Yeah, what I just said, you know,
Sure. Do you want to go to
following your
that
passions and
moment?
interests. Yeah, and like that things aren't all, yeah, I do.
So go to that moment when you're standing.
Yeah, and like sharing about the real experience that I had. I don't know whether it was at the start of year 12 or the end, but even sharing the message at the start of the year, like about your time and energy, like where do you want to put it this year? Like trying to help to motivate the kids to be able to think about what's important to them, what do they value, and where are they putting their time and energy in that year. And if they're not sure yet, that's okay. Like reassure the ones who aren't sure of what career they're going to pick at the moment. Just encourage them to trust that it will reveal itself when it should, like in divine timing. I don't know, probably wouldn't use that word when I'm speaking to year 11s or 12s, but just to
Yes. I don't
continue.
think they would speak
No,
your
they
language.
wouldn't. No, not that, not those words. I'm not writing my speech right now.
Yes.
But just to impart the message that they should just keep on following what lights them up and trust that that will ultimately lead them to where they should go. And there's going to be a lot of people telling them what they should do and who they should be, but ultimately they need to be able to learn to trust themselves, to follow their own inner voice and their own passions. And that is where their path, their highest potential lies. Mm. Mm. My sister needs to hear that message too. Mm.
The yawning is very normal. That's
Yeah,
the
there's a big,
releasing of what we were holding on to for so long.
that's an off, it's called an off-gassing reaction when you
Yes.
yawn. Mm. It's amazing how that happens, you know? That was, I had that experience when I received Reiki for the second time ever as well. The first time was crying and feeling the movement of energy. The second time was just yawning.
Yawning.
Happens a lot for me with tapping too.
I was laughing.
Yeah,
Everyone released
laughing
their
is a good
emotion
one
in a different
too.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Alex. That's, yeah, shifting a lot. And I feel like she's good now.
And can you go back to that moment when you
Yeah.
were talking, when she was talking with the teacher and mom about the future?
Yeah.
What is different now?
She feels really strong in her, in being able to just say, you know, thanks for your opinions, but at the moment I'm too young to choose what I'm doing for my career. And I don't need your pressure because it's not helping. I'm still discovering who I am. And at the moment, for me, that is about choosing the subjects that I feel excited and passionate about. And I know that that's going to lead me where I need to go. And I'm going to be totally fine. You don't need to worry about me. I'm going to be successful in whatever I choose to do. but you need to like respect my sovereignty and
Mm-hmm.
my right to choose that for myself.
And tell me, how positive out of 10 does it feel?
It feels like a 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. What else she needs to do, know, or have to make it 10?
Mm.
We can open the window to the future to just reassure her that she actually will be fine.
Mm. Mm. I feel like there's also, like if I open the window up to the future and she knows that she ends up getting divorced, it's not great, right? Nobody wants to go
Yeah.
into a marriage and get divorced. And I've even had a client came to me once and we were actually tapping through like her greatest fear. She wasn't even married yet, but she was scared of getting divorced because it would be the biggest failure for her. And it was quite interesting for me, who is divorced, to like go through that with someone, right? Um, but I feel like it's like reassuring her that even that is part of her path.
It
And
is.
it's part of her finding her way to her highest self so that she can live on purpose, her
Everything
purpose.
happens for a reason.
Yeah. So I
She
guess it's
learned,
actually
you
like,
learn,
yeah,
you learn from this
yeah.
experience
Yeah, like I
going
guess I'm
through?
still learning how that, I think that's part of my strength now in being able to help people who have gone through that or who are afraid of that, or, like it's actually learning a lot how to survive separation as well. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I feel
So,
like
okay,
there's
if
just this.
that might be opening too many doors.
Mm.
So,
Mhm.
just check with her what else she needs to do, know, or have right now to make it to 10.
Mm. She wants to, you know what she wants? She wants to open up the veil to like her spirit guides and angels to feel
Mm-hmm.
supported by them.
Beautiful. And
Yeah.
she always have support of,
Yeah. But she didn't know it
yeah,
then. So I think
yeah.
that she just wants to feel like even if she's not supported by the careers person or other people, that there's this like divine support that is actually around her.
Mm-hmm. And how
That's
she
there
feels
for
about
her.
that, knowing that it's there.
Good.
Good.
Mm.
Okay. Does it make her feel 10 out of
Yeah,
10 or not quite?
I think she's a
Because
10.
if not, that's fine. We can just leave it there. But I'm just
Yeah.
wondering if we can do the reimprinting
No, I think she
process.
feels like it's a 10 now.
And you mentioned that she feels strong. What other feelings and emotions are there right now?
She feels empowered. She feels self-led and capable and resourced.
Beautiful.
Mm.
So close your eyes, step into that picture where she is right now, and tell me what would be the good color to reimprint.
Gold.
So let's bring that gold color,
Mm.
bring it from top of her head, going to her shoulders, arms, her stomach, all the way down to her feet, going through every neuron of her body and every cell of her body. And bring that sense of feeling strong, that empowerment, self-led, that she's capable, as you've got all the resources. Let it sink into her body and mind. And observe all these feelings and emotions and that golden color growing bigger in the room. Observe that growing and getting stronger. And imagine that going all the way to the universe and coming back to her even stronger and more powerful. And you can open your eyes when you're ready. Okay. Can we just step into that picture once again and see if
I
there's
feel like,
anything
Alex,
else?
I feel like that process was a little bit interrupted for me because I had that rowing coach's voice going dilly dally Sally. And it felt like
Oh,
that's
okay.
it feels like that is interrupting this process a little bit. Like I
Mm-hmm.
need to clear or heal that or come
Yeah.
up with a new name or something.
Well, we might need to organize because that's the second time this rowing coming through.
Yeah.
I think there might be a little bit more to deal with. So
Yeah.
let's just leave it as is,
Hmm.
and we can come back to that memory later.
Mm.
Um, so yes, that would be the process. Given that there is still some interruption, I will not recommend reimprinting because we really want that strong feelings to really be
Yes. Mm.
feeling really powerful, like 10 out of 10 strong,
Mm.
not so,
Yeah.
before we can really start to sink in all this information in.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
see how you're gonna feel. If that voice still coming through, maybe just tap on the emotions that it sparks.
Mm.
But otherwise, I would suggest doing another session.
Mm.
However, saying that, when we started, you felt this copper wrapped, this knot in your chest. Is it
Mm.
still there?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And that anger that was there,
No.
and that feeling that you will be being put in the box.
Mm. Yeah, I feel like that's me putting myself in a box because I'm not I don't remember what the phrase is here, but like I'm I'm not self-referencing
Mm-hmm.
when I'm putting myself in a box. It's like I'm allowing other people to put me in a box. But I guess it's this realization that that's like I've been looking for opportunities for people to put me in a box, but it's like, why am I doing that? Like just push the box away and then make your own decision. Like what,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I feel like I've just realized that that is completely because I've been going and seeing people or like listening to people who have a vision of a box there that's not real. So it's just like, I feel like it's just the cardboard box has just got wet and it's just fallen apart. And I'm like, oh,
Okay,
well, I'm free now.
there you go.
Mm.
And that feeling of being misunderstood, disconnected.
I feel like there's maybe more to explore there
Mm-hmm.
with the dilly dally Sally stuff, you know, and maybe my family not understanding me
Mm-hmm.
completely. Mm.
Yes. So I would like you to observe what's going to happen after the
Mm.
session, how you feel about your ideas.
Mm.
If it's still so confusing, or like even now when you're thinking about, you have so many skills and all these ideas, do you
Mm.
feel there's a little bit more sense of calmness about that?
Yeah, I do.
Mm.
Mm.
Good, but
Yes.
we're really gonna have a check within next week when you just really will be faced with these situations.
Mm.
Having, I don't know, clients contact you and there's ideas coming, and how you're gonna cope with that. Are you gonna just set on one idea, really plan it and go with it? Or it's still gonna be like,
Well,
I have
it's
no idea, so I'm just gonna
it's
not do
interesting
anything.
because I think, the comment I made before about how nature is constantly in flux and we are nature. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's okay. Like there doesn't have to be. I don't know why I've been so fixated on like I need to find my purpose as if it's one fixed thing for life, because that is just not the case. And I feel like that's landed for me today.
And
And I feel like you and I even spoke before we started recording about maybe doing a joint workshop. So co-hosting a workshop for people, whether it's about helping them find their purpose, or we can come up with our own themes or topics that we tap on. But I feel like that's something to focus or hone energy on for now, and it doesn't need to be a forever thing. It's like that's going to serve its purpose for a while. And then maybe it will come to the stage where that's ready to end its cycle, and then there'll be
yes,
something new that it is born and evolves. And I feel like that's okay. So yeah, there feels like this sense of like, oh, like I don't need to just find one answer for my life, like it's a life sentence. This is something that can,
it's a
like
flow.
snakes shed their skin.
But do you remember our first conversation
Yeah,
when we
I
were
think
talking
yeah.
about that topic? And I said, maybe you can do all of it. And she said, no,
Mm,
no, 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 I have to focus because then it's too much. Da, 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 da.
yeah,
But in the end,
yeah,
it's possible.
yeah. And you know why that is? Because that's somebody else's box. Because I've been thinking, oh, it has to be one avatar. It has to be,
Mhm.
one
But
one
how
niche.
funny it is that someone will tell you that, oh, you don't have to actually have one niche, you can have many. And that would just not go in because you already had that
Yeah,
idea that
a
it's just
fixed
one.
belief. Yeah, yeah,
Fixed belief.
yeah.
And now, yeah, the box is open.
Mm, yes. Thank you, Alex, for helping me open my box.
Pleasure. But I
To
also
make
look at my
everything feel so
calendar
much more
today.
expansive. Yeah.
I look at my calendar and I saw this message. I can show you the door. You are the one who must walk through it. And I thought that's pretty good quote for today. That's from Matrix movie.
I love that. And I was on a call this morning about being a self-led woman. And one of the quotes that was shared by Melissa Ambrosini on there was you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And I feel like it's, it's part of the same as well.
Mhm.
Yes.
How amazing. This is an amazing journey. Another little healing for you.
Yes.
And
Thank you,
I'm
Alex.
really, really interested to hear the update.
Yes, I look forward to checking in again and planning with you more about creating a workshop together for people as well, and seeing how we as a pair can best serve people out there as well with EFT tapping and the other modalities that we do as
Mhm.
well. Um,
Yes, and show more about tapping because this session was more matrix, which we touched on tapping because you still do tapping.
mm,
But we can teach you the skills and how to navigate through your emotions so you actually can do it for yourself
I think
when you
it's
need
really
to do
truly is
it.
the most empowering
Mhm.
tool that I've found to date. And gosh, it's something I wish that I'd had back in primary school or secondary school when I was navigating these things too. And I teach a class once a week on a Friday at Neutral Bay Public School. I teach year 5 there. And I always start the class with tapping and, talking about the kid-friendly names for all the points and explaining to them what it is and how it works and how it can help them move through emotions. And I just think to myself, oh, wish I'd had me as a teacher back in year 5 so I could have learned this. But um, yeah, it's a pretty powerful tool, tapping. So want to get it out
Mm-hmm.
there as much as we can. Um, Aleks, before we finish today, I want to see whether there's anything more that you feel you want to share, but also give you a chance to share with people how they can work with you if they're feeling called to work with you as well. Where can they find you? How can they connect? What sort of
We
sessions do you offer?
can we put my website
Yeah, absolutely. I'll
link
include
to
your
the.
website link in the show
Mhm.
notes
So
and your
you can.
Instagram as well.
That would be wonderful. So you can connect through website, through social media, and I'm always happy to. If you give me a call, I can explain more how we can navigate through your issues and problems. So I'm always available for phone call and discussion. So yeah, the doors are open.
Amazing. Thank you, Aleks. And so I'll include links to my websites and those offerings as well below. And then we'll keep you guys updated on what we decide to co-create together as well. What sort of container we might make for people out there who are feeling drawn to do more regular energy psychology and EFT tapping work too.
Yeah, and feel free to leave the comments or let us know if you want for us to explore anything else, or if you want to learn more about specific topic. So we'll be able
Yeah,
to help you.
absolutely. Would love that. All right. Lots of love, everyone out there, and send through any questions. You know, it's always so helpful if you can like and subscribe wherever you're listening or watching from. Share a comment as well about what you got out of this episode. And I'd also be happy to offer a free energy psychology experience in exchange for that as well, to help get these powerful tools and modalities out there to more people. All right. Much love, everybody, and
Much love. Bye.
keep in touch. Okay. Bye.
Thank you.